Alright, hey everyone, good Tuesday evening. We have a loaded Weather for Weather Geeks video for you this evening. Lots to talk about as far as the weather goes, and we'll talk a little bit about tonight's full moon as well. In the meantime, time-lapse video from today in Youngstown. This is from our transmitter tower on the south side of Youngstown. We started the day with a little bit of shallow fog. I mentioned this last evening that fog would be a possibility, and we saw that this morning. Beautiful looking sunrise above that fog this morning. And then we had kind of a mix of high-level cirrus clouds and some popcorn cumulus clouds, and it was hot and it was muggy this afternoon. 88 the mark this afternoon at the airport, tying last Friday for the warmest temperature in our area so far in 2021. Very midsummer-like low temperature this morning. 66 was the low. A far cry from average, which is 50, and a real far cry from the record low of 30 back in 1956. Notice now we are running a rainfall deficit for the month because, of course, after Mother's Day, we've had very, very little rain. And for the year, when we look back at the first 5 months of the year, we're now about 4.5 inches shy of average. Now, we saw a decent amount of rain second half of April, early on in May, first handful of days in May, but the spigot has been turned off since, and things are getting noticeably dry. We really could use some rain. The good news is we are going to get some rain, not only with our shower and thunderstorm threat tomorrow, but then kind of a light, steady rain for parts of Friday, and that will help us out. We had some showers and storms earlier on today up near the Finger Lakes in western and southwest New York. Those are fading away and stayed well off to our north and east. A partly cloudy sky out there this evening, and we should be able to see that big, bright full moon up there tonight. May's full moon, called the flower moon. It's pretty self-explanatory why it's called the flower moon in May. This is a supermoon tonight. And, you know, supermoon's one of those things that tends to be a little bit kind of overhyped. It's a little bigger, a little brighter than a typical full moon, and actually, this is our second supermoon of the year. April was also a supermoon, April's full moon. This one's a little bit brighter, and these are the only two supermoons in 2021, and actually, so tonight's full moon will be the biggest and brightest full moon we have all year long. It is about 15% brighter than a normal full moon and about 7% bigger. To the naked eye, it's really hard to tell the difference, but it is nonetheless a little bit bigger and a little bit brighter, that full moon that will be out there tonight. And with our full moon, I talked about this last evening, we do have a lunar eclipse that will unfold across North America very late tonight or more so tomorrow morning. Now, in our part of the country, this is not going to be all that great. You have to head to the western U.S. to find a full lunar eclipse tomorrow morning. But for us, kind of the left-hand side of the moon, just as it's setting very low in the western horizon, will be covered a little bit by the Earth. A little bit of reddening might be possible. I mentioned this last evening. If you happen to be up at 5:50 in the morning tomorrow morning and you happen to have a clear view of the western horizon and you don't happen to have clouds in your western sky, it's worth checking out. But for most of the rest of us, this is one that you can probably skip and not feel too guilty about it. I'm not setting an alarm for this tomorrow morning. But if you are up, the maximum visible eclipse, the maximum kind of shadow that appears on the left-hand side of the moon, will be right at sunrise, 5:55, 5:56, and then the moon will set 4 minutes later. Kind of no big deal around here. All right, today's big number is the goose egg. That is the number of severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings combined issued so far this spring by the National Weather Service office in Cleveland. Pittsburgh issued one tornado warning for that Lawrence County spin-up, a couple of weeks ago now. But the Cleveland NWS has issued none. No tornado warnings, no severe thunderstorm warnings. This has a decent chance of changing tomorrow. The Storm Prediction Center today, as I kind of speculated last evening, did upgrade us to what we call the slight risk of severe thunderstorms. I don't like using the words as much as the numbers. If you think of the severe weather threat scale as like a 1 to 5 scale, we're basically a 2 out of 5. Still towards the lower end, but a higher risk than a typical spring or summer day around here. With this threat for severe weather across our region and across New England tomorrow, there's a non-zero chance of some isolated tornadoes. Within 25 miles of any one location, there's a 5% chance of a tornado. Hudson Valley, New York, over towards New Hampshire, Vermont, Western Mass. Around here, it's a non-zero chance, but it's real small. I'm not real impressed with the tornado threat here tomorrow, but it's something that can't 100% ruled out. And so technically it's a 2% chance within 25 miles of any location of an isolated tornado tomorrow, but even that, I think, is pushing it a little bit. Overall, I think the severe weather risk tomorrow is pretty conditional. You know, you look at, this is a computer model I'm showing you here, the European model, and this product is called the Significant Tornado Risk, or STP. Basically, it has almost a 0 here locally as far as a significant tornado. When you have an STP near 0, that doesn't mean you can't get any tornadoes. It just means that an EF2 or higher tornado, basically 0 chance of that around here for tomorrow. Some shading here by the evening as the wind shear becomes a little bit more favorable, but by this point, the front's pushing through, the instability is gone, and so by this point I think we're drying out. Speaking of the instability, you know, I picked the NAM model to display graphically here this evening. Typically the NAM is the model that has the bias towards the most instability in the spring and summer. It tends to overdo the dew points a little bit. It has a little more moisture usually modeled than is realistic, and therefore the instability it shows tends to be overdone sometimes. I wanted to show you kind of this model because it's kind of maybe the worst case scenario as far as instability tomorrow. Even the NAM doesn't go through the roof with the instability, the atmospheric instability, the ability for air parcels to rise quickly through the atmosphere, cool quickly, form thunderheads. You see some yellow shades here. You know, you're getting up to medium instability, but again, this is the model that probably is going to show the most instability for us tomorrow. So what I want you to take away from this is severe weather is possible tomorrow afternoon, but I'm not super impressed with the overall ingredients. I think the best atmospheric dynamics will be to our north and northeast, up across New York State and New England. But around here, between 2 and 6, I can't rule out a couple of storms getting feisty. I really think that wind damage would be our primary threat. If we get some hailers, I doubt it's real sizable hail. And again, an isolated tornado can't totally be ruled out. So stay weather aware tomorrow. Make sure you have multiple ways of receiving warnings. We're going to have bigger threats of severe weather before this warm weather season is over, but on a day like tomorrow, just stay tuned into the weather. Make sure that you check the forecast often tomorrow morning before you get busy for the day, perhaps. Have a plan in case severe weather does threaten your area. It's always good to have a plan. And, you know, we haven't had severe weather in most of the area yet this year, so we haven't had an opportunity to, you know, put that plan in place or go into action. Make sure that you and your family do have a plan just in case severe weather strikes. And again, multiple ways of receiving warnings. If you are prepared, chances are you're going to be safe tomorrow and anytime severe weather threatens. So our cold front rolls through. I think this severe weather threat shuts down by about dinner time tomorrow. Scrappers home opener tomorrow evening. I'm optimistic we'll get in the game just fine at Eastwood Field tomorrow evening. Maybe there's a passing shower and maybe a rumble of thunder still lingering 6, 7 o'clock, but I think by then it's mostly out of here. And then, actually, a little slice of nice here on Thursday. A cooler day, a less humid day. The dew points come down, but a nice day before things go downhill on Friday. Now, we need the rain. This is just what the doctor ordered, kind of a steady rain for a lot of Friday, but this is going to be a gloomy, cool day coming up on Friday. Quick check of the updated Memorial Day weekend forecast. Now, some showers might try to linger into Saturday morning. I get a lot of questions at this time of the year about graduation parties and graduations and other things going on outdoors. Weddings at this time of the year are common outdoors on Saturdays. If we get wet this weekend, it's Saturday morning, I think. By the afternoon, it's going to be cool, and clouds are probably going to gradually break for some sun. But I really think the rain is, at this point, most likely confined to the early morning hours on Saturday. Then Sunday and Monday look beautiful. Rest of the Memorial Day holiday weekend, 71 Sunday. A seasonable 76 coming up on Friday. So I think we're in pretty good shape once we get through a potentially damp start to the weekend. That'll do it for me tonight on Weather for Weather Geeks. Hope you have a good rest of your Tuesday evening, and I'll of course have more updates on tomorrow's thunderstorm threat on social media throughout the course of the evening and tonight on 21 News at 11.